High-profile criminal trials underway this week in Hancock County.
Former State Senator Philip Moran and his son, former Diamond Head City Councilman Alan Moran, are fighting 2 felony charges. They're accused of conspiracy and bribing a witness. The state says the father and son, along with 2 other co-defendants, offered Alan Moran's stalking victim thousands of dollars to drop the misdemeanor charge filed in Waveland.
Noah Noble is live outside the courthouse as the first day wraps up. Noah, what happened today?
Jennifer, more than 60 people showed up, responded to the summons for jury duty here at Hancock County Circuit Court in Bay St. Louis. At the end of the day, 12 of those Hancock County residents have been selected to decide the fate of Philip and Alan Moran in this conspiracy and bribery trial. This was an all-day process and a very lengthy process. Not only did those 60-some-odd Hancock County residents have to answer questions from the judge, they also answered questions from the prosecutor and the defense attorney. Interestingly, about half of the residents that responded to this jury summons admitted that they knew about this case either through news outlets or through social media, and a good number of them knew the Morans either personally or through their pest control business based here in Hancock County. Despite that, defense and prosecutors were able to agree on 12 jurors, with 2 potential jurors selected as alternates in case there needs to be a replacement of any of those 12. Today was purely about jury selection. Tomorrow is where the real meat of all this begins. This is when we're going to have our opening arguments tomorrow. We're expected to hear from at least 1 witness, if not multiple witnesses. On that witness list are the 2 other co-defendants in this bribery and conspiracy case. That's Ian Schecksnyder and Jeremy Billings. They have a deal with the state. They've agreed to plead guilty in exchange for testimony during this trial. There's also an FBI agent we're expected to hear from during this trial, detectives from Waveland. Of course, all this revolving around that stalking case in Waveland where a teenage Lowe's employee pressed a stalking charge against Alan Moran. He was convicted of that, and now Morans and the 2 co-defendants are accused of bribing that stalking victim to try to drop the charge. What happens tomorrow will bring you inside the court. Live here in Hancock County, I'm Noah Noble for WLOX News Now.